One more tip for finding rare birds. Make sure you... What's up everybody? Today I am at the Wetlands Preserve. It's the southern part of Utah Lake. I'm here with my new friend Holden right here, who's got the scope for us. And we're trying to find a relatively rare semi-palmated sandpiper. Now remember, rare is subjective, and so this is not honestly that rare for the state of Utah, but it is R stamped and therefore we are chasing it. Now, the reason I am doing this today is because I want to talk about several ways that you can go find rare birds yourselves in your areas and how you can make that process easier. So while we search for this rarer bird, I'm going to talk about how you can also find rare birds close to home. So first tip for finding rare birds is to turn on alerts on eBird. This is pretty easy. You can go to your Explore page and turn on alerts for certain areas. Now you can do it by county, you can do it by state, you can make it daily, weekly, or hourly. I personally have my rare bird alerts for the state of Utah and for my home county, Cache County, on hourly. So I get an email every hour of rare birds that are reported in my areas, in my state, in my county. Now you can also sign up for places that you're visiting. So if a rare bird shows up while you're on vacation near an area, you can also get that alert and go chase it as well. So that's the number one tip that I would suggest you do. Turn on these rare bird alerts and just make sure that they're on and ready to go. So far, no luck with the semi-palmated sandpiper. However, we did get something pretty cool. There is a nesting platform and it has like 3 osprey on it. That's pretty awesome. I've only seen them usually one or in pairs, and this looks like a younger family right there. So tons of osprey out here so far. Now the second tip for finding rare birds near home is to join your local rare bird Facebook group or Discord server. Most states in the US at least have Discord servers for their areas. Some of them are active, some of them are kind of dead. For example, the Utah one is relatively dead. They do send out rare bird alerts there as well, and you can also talk to people about where to find the birds and get more specific with things. The other thing is those Facebook groups are super useful. I think birding is the most active on Facebook. You can find your local state rare bird alert if you'd like. Some places have county Facebook groups that offer rare bird alerts. So I encourage you to join those as well. That will help you to communicate with people on specifics on where to find birds, but also get those real-time alerts from people who are out in the field finding them. Just got a camera lifer to add to my list. Brewer sparrow on camera, pretty amazing. Super happy to get that. Wasn't expecting to see that here at all. We still have not found the semi-palmated sandpiper. Honestly, finding rare birds, you do have to have luck on your side. Obviously, there's some skill involved, right? And chasing some of these birds, you do have to sometimes also have some insider information on where exactly to find them, but there's also an element of luck. Sometimes the bird is just not there for you, and for other people it'll show up, you know, a couple hours later or be there the morning before you got there. So you do need to have luck in searching for rare birds. It's not a guarantee. That's also what makes birding so much fun. Got footage of some peeps, of some sandpipers. They could be the semi-palmated sandpiper. I'm not exactly sure, but this is where other experts come in. I got pretty good footage, as you can see. I picked up some photos as well. We're gonna send these in to people that know a lot more about shorebirds than I do and see if we have the semi-palmated sandpiper. Now this is where luck comes in. These are the only 2 peeps on the sandbar today that we can find. We have to see if these are the ones. It's very possible that it's a Baird's or a Western sandpiper instead of a semi-palmated sandpiper. But we're gonna send it in and see what people have to say about it. If it is a semi-palmated sandpiper, I believe that's a lifer for me. So that's pretty awesome. It's also bird number 250 for the state of Utah. So really crossing my fingers that it is a lifer, because I am on a lifer drought, to be honest.
I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall, fear I wait the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see, spend all my life holding on.
Finally got confirmation on those 2 peep species. Unfortunately, they are Western sandpipers. They are not semi-palmated sandpipers. So that's unfortunate. Still cool birds though. Sometimes, like I was saying before, you just have to get lucky with rare birds. And unfortunately, this trip, we did not have that luck with us, despite doing everything we possibly could to find those rare birds. So just keep that in mind. You're not guaranteed to find the bird, even if you follow all of these tips, but this significantly increases your chances of finding rare birds out there. Another tip for finding rare birds is this new app that I found called Birding app. Now, it's still in development, but it's a pretty good app. You can actually set like a little perimeter of where you want alerts to come through, and it integrates directly with eBird. And so as rare birds are reported on eBird, it'll send a ping to your phone and let you know, hey, rare bird alert, and it'll tell you what bird was reported at what hotspot. So I highly recommend. Obviously, all of these tips are my own opinions, and so they shouldn't be taken extremely seriously, but I do think that these are the best ways to find rare birds in your local areas. Picked up some leased sandpipers to add to our list for the day. That's pretty awesome. Luckily, Holden's here to help me identify some shorebirds because, man, shorebird identification is tough, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna continue looking around. We'll see what else we can find today and talk about a few more tips on finding rare birds in your local area. Picked up some Wilson's phalaropes to add to the list today. I always love seeing those birds. Honestly, Wilson's phalarope should be the state bird of Utah, not the California gull. How do we have a state bird that's named after another state? I don't know. Wilson's phalaropes on the list today. Pretty awesome to see those birds. One more tip for finding rare birds: make sure you meet people in the area. So if you're traveling somewhere, it's always okay, especially if someone lists their contact information on eBird, to reach out to someone who is local, to at least have that contact in your phone in case you're looking for a rare bird in the area, or you have questions about a certain specific area that you are birding. Like us today, we weren't sure how to access a certain area. We messaged a well-skilled birder who's local to this area, and they told us exactly where to go. Make sure you have those local contacts. Utilize other birders to help you find rare birds. Most birders want as many people to see the bird as possible. There's only a few birders out there who are pretty gatekeepy in keeping rare birds. Obviously, there's certain circumstances where a bird is inaccessible due to trespassing or sensitive areas that are being protected by the local government to protect certain species. But if it's not, birders are always willing to help you try to find those rare birds as well. I'm gonna drop Holden off back at his car and see if we can get any other birds on camera for you guys before we wrap up this video. Picked up a few more birds on camera. We picked up a great blue heron walking through the shallows out here. Those birds, it doesn't matter how many times you see them, they're absolutely awesome to look at. Just giant crane, stabby beak things. Then also over here, picked up some barn swallows perched on one of the observation towers over here. So that's pretty cool to see as well. It's really hard to get swallows to land for you. Barn swallows are usually the ones that I get to land for me though. Although there are bank swallows, cliff swallows, and tree swallows out here as well. And then lastly, to wrap this up, got some sandhill cranes flying over us as well. So that was pretty cool. Love seeing sandhill cranes. That seems to be a fan favorite for the people that come out to the Great Salt Lake Bird Festival out here. So last tip to finding rare birds in your area is to just go birding as much as you can. This seems obvious, but the more you go birding, the more likely you are to run into a rare bird yourself. It's really fun to find rare birds on your own. I have not actually found extremely rare birds. I found out of season rarities. Remember, rare is subjective. It can be seasonally rare, it can be state first type rare, it can be county first type rare. It's very subjective. But if you go out and you bird, the more you bird, the more likely you are to find a rare bird for your area. Now, to be honest with you, I have not found too many rarities for the state of Utah. However, I do want to go through a few of them. The first one was Utah's third record of a brambling. It showed up at someone's feeder. This rare bird I was able to find because I was paying attention to the Rare Bird Alert Facebook group for the state of Utah. And if I hadn't been doing that, I wouldn't have found that bird. The second one is a vermilion flycatcher. That bird I was able to find again because of the Facebook group for the state of Utah. The third bird was a gilded flicker, which was Utah's like second or third state record and the furthest north that a gilded flicker had ever been. That bird I was actually able to find because of Rare Bird Alerts on eBird. And then the last rare bird that I was able to find was actually a varied thrush. And this bird I was actually able to find because of word of mouth. One of my friends reached out to me and told me, hey, I got this varied thrush, found it the other day. When you get home from your Christmas break, we got to go looking for it. So again, I have found a handful of rare birds in the state of Utah, and for most of them, it has been a different method every single time. So make sure that you're honed into these resources to use to be able to find rare birds in your own area. Let me know in the comments below, how do you find rare birds in your area? What should be on this list? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope to see you all next time on Bright Eyed Birding.